Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Battle Chef Brigade. So, we're trying to get through this second to last chapter, and I'm crossing my fingers that the final chapter might be more of a coda than a full chapter, in the sense that it would just be a short experience that has us fight the final boss and wrap up all of the story, or maybe not even wrap up all the story, maybe just leave it open for a sequel. Meanwhile, we're doing this like what can only be described as a DLC experience, as we're playing as Thrash, and we played as Thrash for several battles, and we in the last three of them were built around getting the ingredients to cure our wife, who was poisoned from the Dark Realm poison meat. And then immediately our wife challenged us to a battle, which is what we're about to do here. And all of the actors slash thieves of the ingredients that nearly let the wife die because they stole ingredients, which inherently is the moral problem with depriving anyone of anything, is that you just never know the unintended consequences that might happen. Of course, you never know the unintended consequences of anything that might happen based on any action, so it's a only a slight issue when you're doing something that you know is unethical in the first place, as far as stealing. Regardless, let's get into the game. So we have the wife on the right, then we have the two female characters question mark to the left of her. I don't know if the pink-haired elf is supposed to be female or if it's supposed to be male. It sounds to me like it's a male in the voice acting. Then we have the replacement judge leader. And then we have the two kids being animated, which means there's yet another animation pose that had to be done. And then we had the final guy of the theater group on the left of the two kids, and then Thrash. Welcome again, my bosom compatriots.
On this finest of morrows, it is mine humblest of honors to speak to thee from the practice kitchen.
So we're doing this in the practice kitchen. What was weird is when zooming into this screen, there was a screen transition, actually, when it's mostly, I think, been fade-ins up until this point. And the screen transition panned from the top so that you could see that there was this, like, red tree. One would assume that it's an attempt at drawing something like a cherry blossom tree.
Two contestants, both aligned by matrimony, stand ready to face one another in a war of wills.
Like, you don't in these challenges see your opponent ever. You sometimes will hear them talk to you, and maybe they wanted to have a whole conversation in the middle of a battle. There is possibly an argument that if they eliminated all the dialogue in this game, except for what happens while you're actually playing the game with either hunting or cooking, then the game might have worked a lot better. It did occur to me in the last recording, if, for instance, every time you saw a transition on the map from an overworld location to another location, if you had to run through kind of a randomly generated 2D area for 5 or 6 minutes, and you had to hunt creatures to get ingredients on the way, or you could at least hunt creatures to get ingredients or to maybe even get money, that would put a lot more action in the game. If you're having conversations while that is happening also, instead of so many situations where the characters are just standing still on the screen and talking, that would also move the story forward. Of course, the number one problem with this game is that there isn't an auto forward in the dialogue, so every single line of dialogue that's spoken, of which it's never very substantive what's being said, there's just this opportunity to add as much pause as you think you would want, and then probably 2 or 3 times more than what you'd actually want.
A bit dramatic, isn't he?
You don't know the half of it.
So the only way to really get through this game would be to just, for me to not be a critic and just be quiet and hit the A button.
Kai!
Crazy that they would voice these characters or draw these characters at all. Kai and Lupa. Okay, I guess there hasn't been a character named Kai or Lupa before. There's Kieran.
Give me lava.
So Lupin wants water.
Mommy, Daddy, can I have Earth?
So Earth and water.
My stomach yearns for fiery spices to chick across mine tongue.
And he wants fire.
I prithee, what ingredient could match the magnanimity of our occasion?
The only thing that could be interesting here is if this is going to make us fight the dragon.
And all the rock spike.
A Hydra's tooth.
I don't think either one of those are even in the practice kitchen.
A dragon's wing should be the thing.
Taco belly.
'Twould seem thou doesn't grasp the gravity.
Taco belly. Taco bellies. Taco belly. Taco.
Very well, I relent. Thy theme ingredient indeed is Tuckerberry.
So, Tuckerberry is kind of the least prevalent item in the game, in this area, so like get rid of that, and then do that, and then do that, and do that. And we need a little bit of everything, so it certainly isn't going to hurt to go ahead and grab as much as possible. Alright, so then we're going to go ahead and just put Tuckerberry in here, and then start that going. And fire and earth, we'll go ahead and stick Tuckerberry in here. And then go ahead and put that as fire, and then that, and that. Okay. And let's see what else we're gonna do. If it is water and earth, then we need to put earth in later. So I think it's probably best to just put in Tuckerberries now. And let's leave that going. And let's see. Alright, that's a whole bunch of fire.
So what do I get when I win?
If you win, I'll take the pups tomorrow, so you can enjoy Brigade time. But when I win,
I'll buy you a new set of cookware. Though I think I'll be too busy enjoying Brigade Town.
yeah, we'll see about that.
See, yeah, this is where this makes a lot of sense, is that if there was a ridiculous amount of stuff going on, okay, can we put in some more fire? Yeah, we can. So let's start getting this as matched as possible. Let's see, this guy just wants fire. So fire is more what we would need. There we go, we get a blue upgrade. And that can give us that. And then I guess we can do that. And then I guess we can do that. And then I guess we can do that. that, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that.
Yeah, why?
Want to give up now? You only use it when you're worried about a dish.
I may have something up my sleeve. Just you wait.
What do you think, Bob?
Daddy's food is better.
Okay. So we've got like 3 minutes. And so we need to double make sure we get lots of taco berries. And yeah, if you miss that jump, you're kind of messed up as far as getting that. Alright. Okay. Blue and earth, or do we want more fire? Let's go ahead and use this. And do that. Do this. Put it there, start cooking. And we'll start this cooking. And we'll see what we can do here. Alright. Who hasn't had taco berry in this? Probably they both had lots of taco berries in it. And now we just need earth. And that's some more earth. And some more earth.
Perhaps all of Ward's pastries have made you lazy.
Worth it.
Let's see, here, here. And we want blue and earth, so we need the red up here. Which means we need this and that. Alright, we got 60 seconds remaining. Let's do this. And so we have blue and earth to serve. And as far as this, we need fire dishes. Do we have anything else we can do? No. So we'll just have to hope that that's enough to win, and it probably will be. Unless the game wants us to lose.
And now, we shall
Like,
determine a winner.
The only thing I could think here is they're either bending over backwards because they want us to get a reward from our wife, but we just saved her life, so she could have just given us a reward instead of making us fight. Or they're bending over backwards because they want to show that she is this great cook, even though she's not really competing in the Battle Chef Brigade, and it turns out that she's next in line to be the chieftain, so pretty much she's set up.
Yummy!
So Ardia made squeakle con pebre, which sounds like a spin on a Mexican dish, garnished with squeakle stomach and fiery sauce melon, or melone. It's probably pronounced melone, but I might as well stick with melone. Thanks for the earth. So you get 50 points for the earth, and Lupus says water. Was that balanced in earth and water? Yes, it was. I want to eat this every day. So she got 224 every day, every day. Now, will my dish beat that? I made taco berry miguelitos. Miguelitos? What is that? Is that? It kind of looks like a stuffed pancake or something. Served with king bing and cheap horn medley. All this earth is really good. Yummy water. Extra yummies. And see, I got a bonus for that, I think, because I put 5 of the same ingredients in. Yummies. This is great. Haha, yay. So 217 versus 224 were right close to each other. So unless the game is going to cheat and make it harder for me to win, I think I have a decent chance of winning here. She made Moticon Takaberry. Once again, this whole chapter feels like it might have just been leftover Cutting Room Floor DLC, that they had a certain number of food animations and recipes that they wanted to show off, and so they just crammed it into this chapter. This Moticon Takaberry is garnished with cheap chi breast and cheap chi horn assortment. Alas, the fire flavors are so forthright that mine brown does sweat with satisfaction. So that was 3 level fires compared to 2 3-level waters. So it's 189 so far. Thine dish is the greatest my tongue have ever touched. We've seen Pat say that several times. I think we've won here. We need to beat 413.
Stupendous.
So we need 96 points. We once again serve Takaberry Miguelitos topped with boron steak and griffin talon assortment. So, barely this dish is fit for the fiery heart of Thane. Well, if I don't get another 30 plus points in the bonus, I've lost. I got 25. Wow, we may be pushing it right. Using the same ingredient so frequently was a risky move, but you excelled in bringing out variety. This is going to be really close. Nope. Nope, because I had that other bonus of using at least 3 kinds of cookware, which apparently I didn't actually use all 3 kinds of cookware. It's probably because the gem duplicator takes so long to duplicate a gem that even if I use the cutting board and the combo pan for a dish and then put it in the last minute in the gem duplicator, it probably doesn't actually duplicate a gem. I'm impressed you could manage so many moving parts. So with that bonus, I'm now up to 241, so unless there's some kind of weird penalty, I've won. Hear ye, the dish before me, 'tis one deserving of thy acclaim and awe, second only to mine own cookery. He said that before too. He's getting repetitive. Now, why would you do this as a wife? Like there's a certain level I could understand of friendly competition, but not at the moment that Thrash is competing in the proving tournament. Would this be a good idea? Because if his wife did beat him, he would be devastated, or at least subconsciously. It would shake his confidence a little bit. So the only reason a wife could potentially challenge a husband in the middle of a tournament, in the middle of competing, would be if she was intentionally going to throw it. But in intentionally throwing it, you have to be so confident in your ability to make it seem like your husband won fair and square that you won't also crush his ego, perhaps the fragile male ego, but genders aside, if you throw it to try and boost his ego, it may that gesture may be transparent and people may see through that action, and then their ego might be hurt. So there's really no benefit to challenge your husband at this point. Either you're gonna defeat him and hurt his feelings and hurt his performance, or you're gonna not defeat him and run the risk of hurting his performance and his feelings. Now, if he wasn't competing and if this was something that was fairly common, that people would challenge each other, that would be fine. Sure, this is just a practice match, but I don't think this was a good idea at all. if he already made it into the brigade and then the wife challenged him and beat him, that might be a different situation. Or if he was practicing before the proving tournament, it might be a different situation. But actually, if he had made it into the brigade and then his wife beats him, he may just also then develop imposter syndrome. Honestly, at the core of it, the more I think about it, I just don't think husbands and wives should be very competitive at all, particularly when you're talking about being competitive in your dream field, in your chosen profession. It's slightly different, I guess, if you're just playing Monopoly with your spouse, but even then, Monopolies have led to quite a few fights. So yeah, while the wife said it was to shake off the rust, of which there was really not any rust on Thrash. He had been competing this whole time. It just seems like a bad thought.
Who's laughing now, dear?
Yeah. And see, now they're gonna trash talk each other.
You've proven your point. I'm proud.
Us too!
So they wrote this as Thrash won fair and square, but the odds of that being the outcome are like 1 out of 3 potential outcomes.
Aw, pups, you guys are the best.
Yeah, sometimes this story
Thrash's
comes off
family had faced a
as
trial
if
greater than any cooking
they don't even know how humans would interact. And so now we're getting credits again.
Love drove them forward, and they remained triumphant in the end.
We're seeing quite a lot of images in the background.
And create a new genre of entertainment. Food, cart, dinner theater. If you recall, Thrash went on to join the brigade alongside Kieran and Mina. The tournament and its festivities have ended. But what shall we make of the epidemic that plagues the land of Victusia? Let us
if you
return
recall,
to the
they have to
table of our
remind
heroes
you of what
and
happened
see
in the
what
main game.
becomes of all this.
Like, that was an incredibly long chapter. And clearly that was DLC. Clearly in the original version of this game, that would have been completely skipped over. And that is just like crammed in there completely. And seeing that little cutscene does potentially open up the idea of, if there was a ton of that cutscenes and more narration to speed up things and less dialogue, because you can narrate your way fairly easily out of a lot of conflict and a lot of dialogue, then you could have had perhaps a decent movie telling this story, which is really where I think this story, since it's so simplistic, could have been boiled down to, is just a 2-hour story of, hey, we're in this cooking tournament, we're gonna show you an animated movie showing a bunch of cooking fights and a bunch of food, because then you could have very pretty food scenes and you could have very action filled hunting scenes, and eliminate the whole gameplay mechanics completely. Well, let's get back to the main story 4 or 5 hours later. Unless they're going to make us play as a different character, which that'd be ridiculous. So August 1, now it's August 2. So where are we now? We're playing as Mina again, which, okay. If anything, I would argue I kind of liked playing as Thrash more than Mina. I think he's a much better character, and his interaction with his family is written better. Which I guess it does make an interesting argument that had had whoever wrote those two stories been given more opportunities to get more practice and do several different rewrites and passes there, they could have potentially had a character with a family interaction that actually mattered, that felt like a good family interaction. Whereas Mina, she just kind of ran away from her family, and then at the very end, her parents acted like they were super supportive even after that fact. Eek.
Okay, you're in. Congrats and all that, but we have bigger things to do.
So I guess they're skipping to the part where everybody's in the Battle Chef Brigade, except for Ziggy, who's actually a zombie and may be the bad guy, although he's doing a lot of spying. And nobody's wearing their new outfits, which honestly I would think long and hard about skins in this game, letting the characters that get in the brigade wear new outfits. It would be a little bit of redoing and doubling all of the poses, but I would think about it, because that was a big accomplishment. It was the main accomplishment of the game so far.
For once, I agree with you, and I believe I have a solution.
Now remember, Thrash in his DLC learned where Nixel is. So if we are going after Nixel, which I'm not sure he actually is the bad guy that we're going after, Thrash should offer up that information again.
Why didn't you say something earlier?
I wasn't sure until just before the ceremony, and thought it unwise to reveal anything in the presence of our fellow brigadiers.
What did you find?
A true cure. It doesn't just relieve the symptoms of those who ingest infected meat. It cures the corruption itself.
True cure. Alright, now I'm hoping that this doesn't mean that we are going to go down a long battle sequence to get ingredients to make a true cure. I mean, that could be the ending of the story, but would much prefer in a video game to just have a bad guy to beat up. Here we can see we beat Ardia, so now at most there's 5 more fights.
I've already tested it on a variety of infected cells with a 100% success rate. The only thing I need now is a live test subject.
So, if they cure the monsters, will the monsters then spread like an antivirus or countervirus around by itself? Or do they have some other magical way to spread the cure? What happens if they took the cure into the Dark Realm? Can they cure all the creatures in the Dark Realm also? Can they completely eliminate it? Or is this something where they're going to have to inoculate every single monster in the land and vaccinate them? Or apply the cure after they've collected the meat?
We have to catch one of them long enough to give it the cure? Yikes.
For as easy as it is to hunt and kill these monsters, it should be significantly easier to just grab one and hold on to it.
Maybe not. Jelly here has an affinity for monsters. As long as it's small, he can keep it docile.
Jelly is the little ghost, and he's not even in the image.
We should set out immediately then.
But what about Rixel? Now that we're Brigadiers, we have to take him into custody.
Rixel is the bad guy.
We can't let him get away after all the destruction he's caused.
By the time Belkior and I arrived at his hideout, he was already gone. We couldn't find any clues as to where.
So he's already in the
Ziggy to
run.
the rescue. He's in the Dark Realm.
And Ziggy knows he's in the Dark Realm. Now I wonder if Ziggy is from the Dark Realm, since he is kind of this zombie character. Could it be that he is the ghost and a zombie because he's a creature from the Dark Realm, or because he was a human trapped in the Dark Realm? It'd be really funny if Ziggy turned out to be like the first king or the first Battle Chef Brigadier, and his spirit has just been wandering ever since.
I've been taking strolls there since I followed you and Thorn through. Thought they might come in handy.
Ziggy still has his creepy smile.
Just taking strolls in a dangerous, forbidden nether realm? Of course you were.
Thrash, you and I need to find him before he disappears again.
Agreed, but that leaves Kieran with...
Go. Neither of these missions can wait, and Ziggy has been helpful thus far. If we're to persevere, we must do it together.
So, yeah, it seems like there's a decent chance Kieran is gonna get
this done.
kidnapped.
Victusia!
Now, here you go. Literally never seen these poses with half of these characters. So why pay an animator to animate these poses for one time? Unless these are the winning reward poses at the end of a combat. Maybe they are, and I just don't remember. Alright, so that was ridiculous. Okay. And we have just like a crammed full area, so we should just talk to everybody. Let's look at our loadout first. Satchel slots, mana. And then we have remove taste gems, combo, and slowly promote taste gems. Slowly clones taste gems. I'm gonna try that. We don't really have anything new, so if we get any gold, it's gonna be just from it. So unless each of these characters decides to give us like 100 gold or something, I imagine we're just gonna get a bunch of pep talks.
What's up?
Hey, Aaron Starker. Hey, Iron Stomach, you cut me in the registration line and now you're gonna pay. Not this again. Look, I'm sorry about that. Psych, that was a pretty slick move. Show it to me sometime as repayment. Deal. So this was the first time she had ever talked to her.
How may I be of service?
I've no authority to be proud of you, but I am. Aw, thanks, I really enjoyed my stay here. You're welcome. At the Regal Warren anytime, Miss Han.
Hello.
Mina, I saw your final match and I knew you'd fight well, but that was spectacular. Thanks, I wish I could have seen yours, but I was so busy training. Don't mention it. We'll have plenty of time to test each other's skills now that we're in the brigade. Yeah, I look forward to it. So each of these conversations aren't giving me anything. Well, I feel like I should be getting some gold or something.
Good to see you.
Ah, Miss Han, when do you ship off? I'm not sure yet, but with the ambassadors, it's only a matter of time. Thank you for all the instruction, Belchior. I don't think I could have gotten in without it. Here she is, deeply bowing, away from the screen. And this is about the only time where the deeply bowing concept from Japanese like manners kind of makes sense, but there's still really no reason to animate the character bowing away from the screen. They should have just had her bowing to the left or right. My dear, I'm an instructor. I'm always happy to invigorate young minds. We had like one fight with this character, and I feel like there should have been a lot more story around her, but there wasn't. Hello, best friend. Looks like we'll be ambassadors together. I've already told the committee how close we are, and they've agreed to let us go on all our missions together. All our missions? Yes, perks of having tea with its members. No need to thank me. My assignments just got a lot more interesting.
Hi!
We heard you're in the brigade now. Congratulations. Thanks, I couldn't have done it without all your wares. A customer after our own heart. Let's see. Like, either they changed this menu system or I forgot what the menu system looks like, because this looks like the new menu system, whereas whereas I feel like I was shopping a different menu system before. And yeah, let's just run the numbers here. Let's see. 120, 175, 215, 285, 350, 420, 490, 560, 630, 700, 770, 840, 910. Okay, so if I did my math right there, I would need 910 more golden coins to purchase everything. I don't think that's going to happen. If it was going to happen, it would be a character like this that would hand me a massive amount of coins. So unless you're just going to get 1,000 coins for beating the final boss or beating the second to last boss, you're not going to get every item, and it really doesn't make a good argument for replayability. Even if I did like how this game has played up until this point, which I haven't, it wouldn't make a great argument for replayability.
Try a muffin.
From the depths of C Squad, we've risen to the top like cream on milk. Now, Wart, being a baker who sells muffins and things, he should have been animated as holding a muffin or selling a muffin somewhere. Always, but they didn't bother to do that. That already feels like a long time ago. What branch are you in, Wart? Research, baby. I'll be putting my improvisational, can barely pronounce that, baking skills to work. I can't wait to try what you create. And then, see, this guy replaced Thorn for a brief moment, so Thorn could be in the Dark Realm too, and she might be kidnapped by Rixel, or she might just be Rixel. But he didn't, I don't think, ever challenge us. Like, there's a Caesar, C-E-Z-A-R, but there's no Cedar, C-E-D-R. I gave your message to Thorn. Did she say anything? She asked if you're still making her flan. I didn't have an answer for her. Well, she remembered something about me. Kind of. And then two people we'll talk to. Well, girl, I didn't think you'd make it. And yet here I am, now that I'm in the brigade. Are you going to talk to me more often? Don't push your luck. I'll take that as a yes. Congratulations, Mina. It was my honor to serve as your judge. Thanks, Pontita. I heard congratulations are in order for you too. Yes, I suppose. So Caesar and I are as thick as Looper should do. Maybe now he'll be less of a grouch. But did he make it into the Battle Brigade? Like, see, and why is this guy named Cedar and this guy named Caesar? That's fairly too simplistic of names. Like, everybody else I think on the street has made it into the brigade, and I think he did too, and she already was in the brigade. I'll talk to him.
Hey there, Blue.
Ready to head to the dark room? I warn you, the journey isn't pleasant. I'm ready. Alright, so we got absolutely no money for that. Okay, take a deep breath. The air situation is a little weird when the portal's opened. So it's going to be fairly irritating if it turns out
Dark realm? The whole place feels like it's in pain.
like the idea if there actually could have been an AI playing with you the whole time in single player mode is a very appealing idea, and the idea that that's not what's happening that's not what happened is a very irritating idea. Also, haven't seen the screen tear in a while, but I am seeing in the Dark Realm there is a waving effect happening over the screen.
Yeah, I got chills from opening the portal.
So Thrash can just open the portal.
Wait, are we ready for this? I mean, this man caused our friends and family with so much pain. Not to mention the general population. I don't think I've ever been this angry.
Mina is not really a character that needs to be the one that's angry. Thrash should be the one that's angry. Unless they're going to give Mina a rage ability all of a sudden with all those rage ability actions and button presses. I'm wondering if this is going to turn into like a Final Fantasy boss where Rixel starts off somewhat human and then he becomes this giant monster and it's just phase after phase after phase of boss battle.
I know, but don't get distracted. It's time to bring Rixel justice. We're not here for revenge.
So they run.
See anything yet? Ziggy's directions don't make a lot of sense. Go left at the creepy statue? Everything's creepy in here.
Wait, I see it!
So you can see this is just a stationary scene, so they must have ran out of animation budget. But yeah, a 2D side-scrolling section
And what, pray tell, is this?
where they were just walking from room to room or running from room to room fighting random creatures would have been interesting as a way of putting more action in the game, because there's been basically no action in the past 15 minutes. In the background you can see statues, but we kind of know the Dark Realm is just this magical realm they created. And we're being introduced to Rixel as a new character at the end of the story.
Rixel, for your crimes against Victusia, you're obligated to stand trial in the Kitchen Coliseum.
Is it trial by cooking combat?
By the power vested in us, by the Battle Chef Brigade.
We declare you under arrest.
They're doing a lot of posing, a lot of actions there, but I think each of those poses have been used before, or in Mina's case that might be a frame in a movement animation.
Don't even think about trying to escape. You're cornered, old man.
Cornered, you say? We'll see about that.
Scree.
He's getting away!
Now, how would he have summoned a Yoku when you could only summon them once a year?
Handle the Yoku. I'll catch Rixel.
Yeah, they've completely forgotten about the thought that you can only summon a Yoku once, I thought a year. Maybe they said once a full moon, so maybe a month. So maybe they wrote in a answer to that, in that it's been a month since we last fought a Roku, but I don't know if I really believe that. And I assume in the original game there was no Thrash DLC, so this would have been the first time anybody has seen a Yoku, and we would have had to fight it as a boss. Right. Alright, so I guess he has just completely run away after Rixel. So I guess the idea is to throw the eggs after him and use them as kind of ground ammunition, because they kind of explode. And once you win, once you defeat it, and it just fades to black. They didn't program this to animate it to walk to a specific point or anything like that. That's fine. That just saves time. But it is noticeable because it briefly breaks the flow of action and the object permanence or the environmental permanence of the world. Now, in this section you can see Mina bouncing back and forth, and while that is perhaps a little too much bouncing, I kind of would have preferred if all the characters did kind of have an idle animation like that instead of being completely stationary like the characters on the right, and occasionally having just come a sweat animation or something put on top of them. That's felt like a really simplistic boss battle though. But then I guess the vast majority of this game has been pretty simplistic.
Leave me be, you oaf.
Come again?
Let's take him to Instructor Razzle.
So Rexel is being taken to Razzle. These names are rhyming far too much. This map was totally pointless.
Kieran, Ziggy, did it work?
Now, why is the red-haired theater girl back there? Is she going to be a witness against Rexel? I guess that would be the only reason. And we can see all of our cooking equipment is on the shelf in the background on the left. I don't know why you would put it there, but okay.
The mission was...
Quiet on the floor.
Yeah, Razzle. Once again, a character that did not need to exist. She could have either easily been Pontita or the main presenter guy for the Battle Chef challenges.
The trial of Alchemist Rixel is now in session. Prosecution, you may present your evidence.
If this turns into a courtroom drama, it's going to be just incredibly ridiculous. But I wouldn't be surprised at this point. This game is so in love with going off the rails and putting speed bumps to the story. I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, the guy should just confess,
Instructor,
and the story should move forward.
Bandits to steal my research and impeded our attempts to resolve the monster epidemic.
It's true. He gave us a payment in his coin purse. It says Rixel on the inside.
This thief must have stolen it from me as I stood here.
That's not all. We discovered Rixel is to blame for the mutation in the first place. He poisoned the monsters on purpose.
Lies!
Silence! You'll be given time for your rebuttal. Mina, can you substantiate your claim?
Rixel recorded how he infected the monsters in these notes. Take a look for yourself. He used samples from the Dark Realm.
The old fool. To commit treason, then write it down.
I ran tests on the infected monster cells and confirmed Rixel's research was the cause of the mutation. I've brought samples for you to examine.
I see. The samples confirm your claim. Rixel, you are charged with theft, destruction of property, conspiracy, and treason.
Still not sure that this isn't all just Ziggy doing this though. If you think about it, he could have easily fraudulently made up the evidence against Rexel, and he could have easily hired the theater troupe. I mean, he is also a zombie that could basically control maybe any dead body or any body in general, so there's a lot of room for magic trickery to also affect the outcome.
The punishment for these crimes is banishment from the Brigade, and a sanction upon your culinary power. How do you plead?
Banishment from the Brigade and a sanction on your powers is kind of a very, very low punishment for what he's potentially done, because he very easily murdered or almost murdered thousands of people by poisoning meat.
Not guilty, Instructor. I am appalled by these blatant falsehoods. Are you really going to take the word of these hooligans? The research they mentioned was stolen from a Brigade lab.
Curious that you never reported it missing. How do you explain the documents presented?
Instructor, please. I was only trying to end the true blight. I sought to cure monsters once and for all, but the committee only cared about his uninspired ambrosia project.
So here's where he breaks down and just admits it, so why not have him just admit his guilt 5 sentences previous and save us all some time?
It doesn't have to be like this, Rixel. We can put the past behind us and move forward.
This kind of is making
Only you'd let go.
a hint that there could be a prequel game where you played as Belchior versus Rixel. But I don't think that would be a better game or an interesting game, because at that point there wouldn't be any poisoned meat, so that gameplay mechanic would be thrown out the door, and I don't think any interesting story could be told, since there's not an interesting story really being told even now.
I refuse to take advice from a hack like you, prattling away about perfect flavors when there's real work to be done. I'm twice the alchemist you'll ever be.
Rixel, since you've been unable to present compelling evidence to the contrary, I pronounce you guilty. You will never work as an alchemist again, and are forbidden from all culinary experimentation.
Throw him in the dungeon or execute him.
No, alchemy is my lifeblood. I demand a trial by cooking.
That's what I thought this was going to boil down to, is a trial by combat / cooking.
A trial by cooking?
And that sound effect there definitely seemed like this was a reference to Ace Attorney. Once again, there's a heavy Japanese influence in this game, but it definitely doesn't feel like a Japanese game.
Brigade law dictates that anyone accused of a crime may request it.
So
The
anyone...
severity of Rixel's crimes only make him eligible for a reduced sentence. He won't get away.
A trial by cooking can be demanded right before you're about to be found guilty. So you get one trial and then you get to demand another trial. I don't think that's a good system, and the idea of trial by cooking in general doesn't work. The only reason trial by combats were allowed ever is because it was at least explained away as the idea that God, a divine entity, would ensure that the innocent party would succeed in the combat. But really it was just a trial by combat was always a system to allow people with power, influence, or money to avoid being held to by the same laws and the same rules as everyone else. Because if you were rich, of course you would be trained in swordsmanship and dueling, or you could hire a second to take your place and represent you, who is a professional fighter. Whereas if you were poor and a trial by combat, you probably would have never been able to even afford a sword or a pistol.
By order of the Battle Chef Brigade, we will honor your appeal and commence the trial by cooking. Prosecution, who do you name as your champion?
It's all you, Blue Jay.
Yep. They weirdly now have to build they have to build a reason for Mina to have one more cooking challenge, so that we can remember that this game was mostly around the concept of Mina being a cook.
Mina, you're the most focused, talented chef I know. If anyone can defeat Rixel, it's you.
So unless they're gonna throw a real challenge in here and he's gonna cook like a 450 dish, I'm still probably gonna succeed.
I know he made bad decisions, but didn't he try to do something noble?
It's not that he made bad decisions alone. It's that he did something unauthorized, or that he shouldn't have done. He didn't report that he did something that he should have done. He let other people's lives be put at risk because of his actions and his silence. And then he's denying it right up until the point where he could no longer deny it. So there's just several bad actions that were taken, on top of him just doing research on the Dark Realm animals and infecting creatures with the Dark Realm disease.
I don't know what I'd do if I couldn't cook.
The idea that he couldn't potentially run away to a different country or hide in the mountains or in the forest and still do alchemy is ridiculous, unless they have a magical way of stopping people from doing that. And then it becomes even more ridiculous if you could magically stop someone from cooking to the point where they would, I guess, have to be a beggar on the street and be fed by other people.
I know what he said, and I know he means it. You still can't let him win. Trust me, Mina. He'll hurt more people than you can imagine.
Ziggy kind of feels like a self-insert character, if I was to guess.
I trust you, all of you.
Like, he really does feel like he is a Mary Sue type character.
Instructor, I'll face him.
That clearly doesn't need to be there.
Very well. If Mina wins, Rixel will be convicted and forever banned from alchemy. If Rixel prevails, however, he'll be allowed to continue alchemy under the strict supervision of a Brigade veteran, but may only cook with dull pots and pans.
I guess they literally call them dull pots and pans.
The rules are the same as ever. Provide each of our judges the best cuisine, but this time, the extent of Rixel's conviction is on the line.
So I guess the idea is that the better pots and pans might be strictly regulated as to who can have them and who can use them.
I've assembled our top judges, Maridane, Hasjil, and Akebo, to sit in judgment for this trial.
Weird that they would just all of a sudden pop in the judges without showing them before this point. So fire, earth, and water.
The theme ingredient for this match represents the many threads that brought you here. Hydra!
So we need Hydra meat. Okay.
Chefs, begin!
Now, I'd kind of like to see my loadout. But apparently I can't. Alright, that's weird. But let's get down here and let's remember where the Hydra is. Maybe I should stop falling into the lava. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Hydra heart. Get that. Drop that. Drop that. Get that. Take that. Okay. So we need something. Hydra lungs.
Awesome.
Hydra fin. Hydra neck. And that. Start that cooking. And what are we gonna do next? Hydra neck, Hydra neck, Hydra neck could be used for anything, but I think what we're gonna do is we need to get as many mushrooms as possible. Alright. Do I have enough that could get me blue? Does this give me blue? This gives me green. There's a lot of breakable stuff in this area, but none of it actually, I think, does anything.
Enough yet, girl. You'll never defeat a master alchemist like me.
Try and stop it.
Alright. Hydronic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got a I think we've got a fire ready to go. So fire doesn't make sense. So we'll want to put in as much, of this as we can, and then we'll just do that, and then do some more of that, and do some more of that. And so, what do we want to do here? Go ahead and get that going. Blue. Do a little bit of that. Do a little bit of that. Do a little bit of that.
Yes.
And more blue. And right, we need this and this and this. And this is going to be kind of ridiculous to do this, but I think this will work. Might get this out of the way, I guess. And then do this. And do that. Okay. Right. This can't do anything more.
Try to stop me. I want to destroy the blight as much as you do. Are we really so different? Look at what you're willing to do to stop me. Stole from the Brigade, lied to your superiors, broke Brigade law.
You're wrong. We did those things.
For the greater good.
We did them to save lives, now and in the future. We would never sacrifice the present for tomorrow. And we'll never stop fighting for the people who need us.
Get that way, and then that way. Alright, we need to go get some Hydra meat. I'm just gonna get a bunch of small Hydras, and I think I'm just getting green. Ooh, I may not be able to get any more Hydras. Alright, well, let's see what else can we do. Well, if I can't do that, then I'm gonna take this, this, and this, and just where we may just be in a bad position here. go ahead and take these out. And then put these in. And take this. And start this cooking. And while we're here, we'll do that. And we'll do more of that. Which can upgrade that. Meanwhile, we can put that there. And that's there. Alright. We don't really have enough time for anything more. So, here is our green dish without anything. Here is our fire dish with a lot of stuff on it. And here we'll just give our blue dish. So if there's some way I did not succeed in that, that'd be fairly ridiculous. Now, also, a trial by cooking, since it's a judge system where people are just giving arbitrary points, it would be very, very easy for all of these judges to have a personal bias and say, nope, this is awful, you didn't flavor it right. And I don't know if there's supposed to be a bigger theme or story here where they're going to come back and say Raxel just doesn't know how to please anybody or serve anybody food because he's obsessed about doing the things he wants to do instead of listening to what people are asking for or giving people the things that they want. But he also theoretically should be this like very veteran cook, so the idea would pretty much boil down to he should be really good at this. So he has a lantern fruit babio, never heard of that, but it looks nice. Babio fan or fawn, served with hydra lungs and hydra fin assortment. 224. I'm tasting the fiery perfection I was looking for, so 294 is a very high point, but maybe the idea here is that I'm supposed to lose anyways, because then that would mean he'd have to work under Belchior. Incredible meal fit for King Heinrich himself, which they've kind of forgotten to say anything about King Heinrich, but that's fine. I'd like to know, however, if King Heinrich is still around and alive, or if they even have a monarchy anymore, or if it's just been replaced over the years by the Battle Chef Brigade. 294 is a high number. Next we have Hydra Steam Rolls with a side of Hydra Fin and Hydra Neck Medley. It's a slow burn, but that makes the fire even more exciting, so 282. Exactly like the festivals, you've managed to nail the smokiness too. So 282 versus 294, so we're right in the same thing. Next he served crispy skin versket. This is a great example of a dish that many people would be turned off by. So this is kind of a problem of like high class cooking or high fashion dining, and certainly any cooking game would have to think about, do you want a dish that is basically an entire rat on a plate with an apple stuffed in its mouth, or a pig on a plate, a small pig. The crispy skin versket is garnished with hydra lungs and slime egg medley. 209 plus 50. The herbal earthy flavors are exactly as I requested. So 259. Poison must be carefully extracted from blighted meats, not masked with other flavors. So he lost points because of poison, and if anybody loses points because of poison, Rixel should be the one that does. So now it's 533.
My congratulations.
Next we have clay pot cured lap lizard topped with lap lizard legs and quarry top malong, which means this is probably one I didn't have any hydra in. The theme ingredient isn't coming through at all, so that dumps it down to 90. But then I get 50 again. Your interpretations of this dish is my favorite by far. Plenty of earth, evenly spread throughout. It's all earth. Then using the same ingredient so frequently was a risky move, but you've excelled at bringing out its variety. But I'm still at 165, so I very well may lose here. A clever blend of flavors and textures. I can tell you have a keen sense for complementary elements. So I'm at 447 compared to his 533. So I need like an extra 50 points here. Otherwise I've lost. Hydra stew garnished with lap lizard tail and watery sauce malong. He's at 249. You certainly adapted well. The watery brings out the freshness without adding unnecessary. Do you spell unnecessary with just one N, or is it UNNECSSARY? That might be a typo. Density. I give you top marks for in every category. This is truly remarkable. So 249, which bumps it up to 782.
Exceptional.
So we need 36 points. I don't see how we get that. I think we've lost. Steam Hydra rolls topped with Cragmore Claw and Cragmore Shell assortment. At 250, beautifully hydrating. The water is a nice antidote to this summer day. So using the same ingredient frequently was a risky move, but you've excelled at bringing out its variety. Did we make it? Your dish is a delight. I'd even make this at home. I feel like we may have even tied here. That would be insane. 772.
By the power vested in me by the Brigade Committee, I shall now declare a winner.
We just gotta win music in the background. So that seems like we won.
Rixel has successfully mitigated his punishment.
I was like a very small amount of time yeah, very small amount of time there made that mistake. Alright. So we're gonna have to do this all over again, and this time we know what to do slightly faster. It's like, but of course I need to be fairly quick on this too, because those plants are not going to grow very fast. Come over here and get this, and we'll take one more of these, and then we'll do this, and then we'll run Okay. So we need Hydra Neck and let's see. Yeah, you just start cooking that. And then we will put one Hydra Neck here. And then we'll start doing green. And we'll start doing green. And hey, what more can we do? So we may just have to decide to fight some other characters. Okay. So that's as much as we can do as far as Hydra. And so we can make one really good dish on that. And that's pretty much all I think we can do. And we'll try and take out a couple of these guys for some blue. But I think that's about as much as I can
Yet, girl.
do.
You'll never defeat a master alchemist like me.
Right.
Try and stop me.
Okay. This and this, and then we'll go ahead and sort this and this. Is that the one that's changing, or? Alright, let's put that here and start that cooking. And now we want blue. Actually, what I want to do is put that here for now, and then let's do Hydra Neck, and then Hydra Fin,
Yes.
and then Hydra Neck there. Oh, didn't realize this was gonna play this way. I need red is what I need more than anything else. Okay. Hydra Neck, Hydra Neck, Hydra Neck. Let's see.
Awesome.
Come on. Come on, game. Don't drop the ball here so much. Candle gourds. It's one fire.
Try to stop me. I want to destroy the Blight as much as you do. Are we really so different? Look at what you're willing to do to stop me. Stole from the Brigade, lied to your superiors, broke Brigade law.
You're wrong. We did those things.
For the greater good.
We did them to save lives, now and in the future. We would never sacrifice the present for tomorrow. And we'll never stop fighting for the people who need us.
I need more fire. If this is gonna work. Like this is not gonna work though. This, like, we just don't have enough time. Just don't have enough time. So we have like a 190 here. We've got this here. Get rid of that. And get rid of that. And we can try that. I just don't know how I'm supposed to win here. Just seems like its odds are so low as far as okay, we got 215 and we need more blue. Is there any way to get more blue easily? I mean, like, do we have any time to take on this guy and grab one potential item? No. So we've just got a really low dish here that I can try to do this, and then I can try to do this, and that gets it up to 125. Put that here. I can see that we have a fire dish here, we have a green dish here. We might as well just serve the green dish. We're done with that. And serve the fire dish. And then we've got 10 seconds, so we've just got to serve the blue dish. And once again, we may have just failed here, unless we get very lucky. And I, again, may very well have just not done enough hunting, or just may have not moved around enough. Perhaps the gym cloning oven is not as good as the gym upgrading oven.
Outstanding.
Alright, so let's kind of skip through this. 264 plus poison, 242. Okay.
Delicious.
Steam Hydro rolls, 240, where the fire did win. And then you used every color of the theme ingredient for a bonus. And then that gets me 265. So we have about 20 up.
Quite delicious.
204 plus 50, but then some poison again. Seems like the game is cheating for us. So that gets him to 478.
Flavors in harmony.
Now we have steam hydro rolls topped with quarry cap. And that's 158. So that's 423 versus his, what was it, 478. So we are now 55 short. So unless we got a really good score here and you got a fairly bad score here, we've lost again. And it's really hard to stay enthusiastic around all of this. Topped with slime sauce and lantern fruit melon. Hydra stew, he got 163. And plus a bonus. Scrumptious. There's a place at the academy for you should you ever choose to enroll. See, that is clearly a pre-written line that makes no sense at Rixel, for Rixel, since he's already in the brigade.
A delicacy.
Steam Hydra rolls with Candle Gourd and Cragmore Shell assortment. We have 127 plus 50. This is like our worst dish though, I think we've lost. Using the same ingredient frequently gave me 25 extra points. If I win here, it's going to be by very small numbers. 624.
By the power vested in me by the Brigade Committee, I shall now declare a winner. Rixel has success.
So yeah, once again failed. Alright, let's try this. Yeah, actually, there's probably a fairly easy. If I reset this here, this probably isn't going to do anything. But my hope would be that that would reset these guys so that I can I'm not sure I hit the Hydra with any of those things. Alright, skip that. Green sauce and water sauce is way better than what we were getting before. And then here we have this. And then that's where we're going to leave that. And then we're going to run this way. And we're going to see that we have only one blossom cap. See, so these don't reset. I'll get one of those. Still not really any reason to do that. I could go and get some more fire meat. Suppose that might be worth an attempt. So. Didn't know that could even do that. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, eating that now is probably not worth it. What I'm gonna do is come over here and get this, and then so all of this, and get some looper leg too. That way I'll have a fairly high amount of meat. Yeah. Alright. See, that's going to give me a little bit more ingredients. And I probably, with my special ability, should go get the other lantern. Is there another one? Here there is. that, and that, and that. And that's probably as much as we can do. They even give you a general idea of just where this is all gonna go. Alright, so we need... Alright, let's start with the first one. Hydra fin with Hydra neck. No, this Hydra neck. I apparently did not get all 3 ingredients. Whatever. Slime core. And whatever. So let's start that going there. And in this one, we're just gonna go with 1 Hydra neck. And then I'm gonna start throwing in... No, that's Hydra lungs. That needs to go in here. Alright, well, we'll take a looper bladder and a lap lizard and a lap lizard there, and we'll start locking all these things together. Quarry cap and another quarry cap, and let's see. Okay, a quarry cap. This and this. This. Yes. So, which one I think do we need? You just keep cooking that, and we'll keep cooking blues.
Why try to stop us? I want to destroy the Blight as much as you do. Are we really so different? Look at what you're willing to do to stop me. Stole from the Brigade, lied to your superiors,
Blues.
broke Brigade law.
You're wrong.
Blues.
We did those things
For the greater good.
We did them to save lives, now and in the future. We would never sacrifice the present for tomorrow. And we'll never stop fighting for the people who need us.
Alright, so we need to just go ahead and put the Hydra lugs in here. And looper meat. And that. And that. And let's go over here. And let's see. Gotta do this. This. Jeez. This is just still such a frustrating element. There we go, just green all of that up. Continue that cooking. Get rid of that. Need more fire. Come on.
Uh-oh.
Can we do anything more? Fire. Okay. Do we have any poison? We have a bone here, so let's get rid of that. I feel like I could have added a bunch of stuff, but I don't really have time. So yeah. Is there anything more we can do here? So let's just hope that we can copy one more green, and then that will get us one more thing. We have like 10 seconds. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Once again, third attempt. Are we going to be able to get this done?
Now decide Rixel's fate.
Or are we going to be 10 points short again? Honestly, I kind of need to exit the game so it just respawns a lot of the mushrooms. Had there been 6 mushrooms, I could have gotten probably 10-20 points extra just because of that. I don't think you can ever get the Hydra back, because once you killed the dragon, it's gone the whole time. So he gets poison. That gives him 188.
The flavor, it's outstanding.
I got 187.
You're an inspiration.
He got 209, but then he's poisoned again, so 189. You can see that there's probably a low limit score you need. 205 plus that is 258, so that may put me over.
Delightful.
Poison again, which means he'll get like 214. So I need to beat 591, which would be just 150 or so. And this is Hydra fin soup, which doesn't make a interesting argument about shark fin soup and how most of the world considers that highly unethical to eat these days, and even the Asian countries that did eat it are mostly not eating it anymore, and most have banned it completely because the harvesting of the shark fins is very wasteful and leaves the rest of the shark meat to rot, and they aren't ethically ranching the sharks, so the population is dwindling. Anyways, 190 gave me 635. Did I win that time? I wasn't paying. I don't remember.
Made by the Brigade Committee, I shall now declare a winner.
Please tell me I won.
Mina wins the match.
Finally, 3 attempts. And we're an hour and 40 minutes into this episode, because this may be the last episode.
I did it.
So either one of two things happen, and I imagine what happens here is that we just get credits and that's it for the game. But we may have Ziggy reveal himself to be the true bad guy, and there may be one more battle, or there may be some other battle for some other stupid reason. So I won with unethical Hydra fin soup.
Rixel, I strip you of all stations and titles. You are hereby banished from the Brigade and its satellite institutions.
Which, it seems like, I guess the Brigade runs almost all the cooking institutions and almost all the business in the entire land.
Oh, no. You can't do this to me. I bet your so-called peacekeepers didn't even tell you the worst of their crimes. They repeatedly went into the Dark Realm.
So, like, how do you know that?
I suppose it's fortuitous they aren't the ones on trial then. You were given your last opportunity to prove yourself worthy in the Brigade's eyes. You failed. Take him away.
And there you have a knight to show up.
You are in enormous trouble. Breaking into our lab, trespassing in the Dark Realm, what were you thinking?
We had to act, Instructor. Rixel would still be loose if we hadn't done something.
He probably wouldn't have, though, if you had just reported your findings immediately.
Mina Han, I'm surprised at you. Did you learn nothing from your expulsion?
Hold on. The only gravedigger here should be me. I'm the one who broke into the lab and discovered Rixel's whereabouts.
See, now it feels like they very intentionally wrote this in circular logic to make Ziggy be the one who falls on his sword and takes all the blame.
Not happening, man. We all did this together, Instructor.
There's something at the top of the stairs that is oddly animated if you look directly above at the top of the stairs there. I don't know what that's supposed to be.
I'm sorry we broke the rules, but I stand by what we did.
And you, Kieran?
I found a cure for the mutation. One that will heal the monsters, protect our town, save our people's lives. We couldn't have done that waiting around for Brigade approval. Do what you must.
See, this would be funny if it turns out everybody gets expelled and then they have to come back in a sequel.
You found it? Instructor, I beg you for clemency.
Oh, the stuff at the top of the stairs is the evidence that they had stolen from the lab.
And your request shall be granted.
Why is Common coming back into the story at all? Like, why is he in the story at all, really? He kind of felt like he was just an actor, just a figurehead. Much like actually in Iron Chef, he pretty much is just an actor.
Common. I know they meant well, but they broke fundamental Brigade laws.
They probably should have said Common is like the king. That would make it make a little bit more sense. But then they also should have just merged Razel and Common together.
You once told me that leadership wasn't about perfection, but how we deal with our imperfections. Their decisions were flawed, but they've contributed more to Victusia than most of our veterans. All Rixel had to show for his secretive work was an epidemic and countless sick.
And once again, he's doing his speechifying of everything. He does have a good voice, though. The voice actor did a good job for Common.
How my words come back to haunt me. You're right, Common.
Whereas Razel's voice completely sounds nowhere as good as
You're all on janitorial duty for the next week. And then you will receive commendations for exquisite service.
Their enforcement of the rules are very weird. Like, it seems very light no matter what you do. Like, nearly cut somebody's hand off, you're expelled for 1 year. Nearly kill and cause a pandemic in the entire land, you're banished. What does somebody have to do to be thrown in jail or executed in this land?
As for you, Siegfried, I'd like to apologize for the committee's distrust. You may not have finished the tournament, but I name you an honorary brigadier.
Okay, great, yay. Unless there's more game, that doesn't really matter.
Oh, you're killing me! Wait, you're serious. Thanks.
For now, we have a cure to administer. We'll make the preparations. You three meet us back at headquarters.
Well, guys, it's been corporeal, but I have to leave.
Leaving? But we just brought a mad alchemist to justice. You're not even gonna stay for a meal?
I completed my task here. It's time for me to go.
Where will you go?
Yeah, it does feel like Ziggy is gonna end up as a character in some theoretical next game by this developer.
To hell if I don't change my ways. Hamburger, you're the best. You believed in me when nobody did and made all this possible.
What? I wasn't even here for part of the tournament.
He's right, Blue. You got us all together.
We wouldn't have caught Rixel if you'd stayed in Windy Village.
Thank you. All of you mean so much to me.
Well, that's all the time I have.
He's really gone.
Oh, and Thrash. When Lupus starts dating that fisherman's son, go easy on him. It's gonna be fine.
When Lupa starts dating the fisherman's son, go easy on him. It's gonna be fine. I don't remember who Lupa is. Is that his kid? I guess. So apparently Ziggy can see the future?
Wait, what is that?
Bye.
Goodbye, Ziggy.
There goes the strangest guy we'll ever meet.
I wouldn't be so sure. Odd things tend to flock to us.
Yeah, I don't know why the story is going this route.
And we'll be ready for them.
And so, with the help
We got
of our
another
bravest
achievement.
chefs, we administered the monster cure across Victusia.
I guess they just magically administer it
Mina,
with a
Thrash,
wand.
and Kieran received their commendations, and a feast was held in their honor.
A feast you don't get to see, which really sucks for a game that should be a food
The three
fetish
friends spent every
game.
possible moment together, until the time came for them to part ways.
And who's this character in the lower right? Is that some kind of...
Kieran joined the research branch and stayed in Brigade Town as Belchior's assistant, though in time she would surpass even him.
I guess that's Kieran.
Thrash swore to protect and provide in our military branch, and set out for home. His village has never been happier or better fed.
And Mina became Lieutenant Fork.
Mina followed her dreams of travel into our ambassador branch. Now she treks across Victusia, teaching our ways to the populace and learning new crafts from them. As for Ziggy, no one has heard from him since the day of the trial, but brigadiers across Victusia tell stories of a skeletal figure and his ghostly companion passing through their camps at night, always smiling.
This kind of feels like the whole story was just a fairy tale.
But fret not,
Or
for
bedtime
Victusia
story.
is always in need of chefs with the strength of the tides, the flames of curiosity, and the endurance of the earth. We may yet meet again.
And I can't say I hate this animation style here in the wrap-up. And the wrap-up does help, certainly. But there is a lot of problems and a very, very long path to get to the end here. Trinket Studios. So I'm gonna look up Trinket Studios and see who's influenced. There's a Eric Huang, so that does seem like that probably is an Asian writer, but it does seem to me like the rest of them, at least the main programmer, is more of a Western developer. So it might be kind of an international group. I'm definitely seeing kind of a 50-50. Let's see, they apparently are in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they don't even have a secure HTTPS on their website. Copyright 2013 on their website. And their website is also broken. They haven't updated their PHP, I don't think. Pretty bad. So I imagine, as I'm not looking at the credits here, what happened there is this Kickstarter company went pretty much silent and out of business. And this music's nice, assuming that YouTube is not content IDing this music at the moment and it's all muted, but it's way too little, way too late. You should have heard this music as an intro sequence as at the beginning of the game. This was published by Adult Swim Games, and I imagine if they hadn't gotten a publisher, they wouldn't have been funded enough to even finish this game. And I guess maybe that makes a lot of sense, actually, in the idea that it very well could have been anime inspired because it's based on Adult Swim games. Adult Swim eventually did get the rights to Food Wars, so it would be a nice combination, although I doubt that they were probably paying to publish. Publishers usually fund a lot of the development of games. This Kickstarter campaign got $100,000, according to Wikipedia. But when you consider that the people that worked on this were former employees of Wide Load Games who made Halo Combat Evolved and Myth and Marathon, and Bungie employees, like, this really doesn't feel like the kind of game that that collection of people would really make. Project Gutenberg. I don't know why that is getting limited listed there, because Project Gutenberg is just a project of open sourcing books. I really hope all these Twitter people were happy with their the game, and I imagine at $100,000 Kickstarters, I imagine a lot of the people that funded the game got the game fairly cheap, and so this game probably never had any real sales. There's a lot of people. They let you scroll down, thank goodness. Just a ton of people. I'm very dissatisfied with this final product. The concept is slightly intriguing, certainly, and I could see how I would have been sold at potentially Kickstarter funding a game like this, but if I ever funded Kickstarter games, and I don't, because they almost always turn out like this, a disappointment. But if you have any experience, and these game developers do have experience, there should have been a director in this that thought things through and could have said, hey, what at the core we're making here is a visual novel that's a kinetic visual novel that doesn't seem to change ever. It doesn't seem like there's any branching paths. If there are, the game has failed completely to tell us or show us that there are branching paths. And on top of that, visual novels, which visual novels without adult content really don't sell, and Western visual novels really don't sell. And then on top of the visual novel elements, you're adding a match 3 game with a uninspired fighting gameplay mechanic with 3 levels. If you have those 3 core elements and you look at them, you would very easily see that this game would not work, and it doesn't work at all. It feels like they very well may have had 1/3 of their team wanted to make a visual novel, and the writer wanted to write a visual novel, and 1/3 of the team wanted to make a fighting game, and 1/3 of the team wanted to make a match 3 puzzle game. And you could easily have either gone very deep on the match 3 puzzle elements and got rid of the fighting section, or you could have gone with the fighting section, or you could have just gone straight visual novel, and then I would have never bought this game in the first place. But you can't do all 3. You can't even really do all 2. They just don't work together. I personally would have said, drop the visual novel stuff. We're going to tell all the story as action is actually happening, as somebody has a reason to press a key on the keyboard or a key on the controller, and drop the match 3 element. If this was 100% hunting, you hunted for the meat, you handed it to a sous chef, the sous chef then cooked it. Until next time, Battle Chefs. Yeah, right. There will almost certainly never be another game from Trinket Studios, would be my guess. And there almost certainly would never be a, where is this going to put us, I wonder? It puts you way far back. Almost certainly never going to be anything anymore. And so what else does the game have? As an option, you have a human rogue dual chef knives weapon air elemental age 21 from Windy Village with her favorite food being eggs, and Mina, or you can play as Thrash, or you can play as Ziggy, but this is like the only time you can play as Ziggy, and they really are just in love with Ziggy. And am I playing against a real person? I don't think so. So this is probably just a daily challenge. So let's see what this is like, just jumping through this.
Welcome once again. Now, Ziggy. Presiding over a...
So yeah, this is probably what they were expecting, more than anything. This guy moves rather slowly. He is really a cool guy with his hands in his pockets, isn't he? Alright, well we need a ton of blue.
What have you?
Interesting. So you can kind of cheat and jump off. So you can summon a bunch of creatures. Yeah, I don't think that works particularly well. He doesn't have a lot of things. And then he moves incredibly slow. So you just... You can see he's just gonna cook things same old way. And that pan only cooks red things. So I would have to do something like this. And then I can't really get the poison out, so poisons and bones are just gonna stay in there. Interesting. So I don't want to cook a whole meal. I'm just gonna do this and serve that for 4 points. Like the lowest you probably could ever get. And what's funny is we're clearly gonna lose here, but the challenge for the daily challenge is not particularly high. See, it doesn't appear to be enough earth and water in your dish. Actually, there's an exact equal amount of earth and water, but none of them are 3 levels. If I somehow won this, that'd be ridiculous. I could definitely win this, but I don't see a reason why you would.
Just horrid.
This definitely goes to show how you really how they would have tested this game, and they would have just had daily challenges against random people, and if that was all the game was and there was just no storyline at all, I think the game would probably be a better sale. Look how much this game cheats though. I got 178 for that, and that gave me some kind of RPG experience, which is just like ridiculous that there's daily challenges in RPG experiences. And I assume, like, can we change the loadout? No. You can just look at the loadout. Interesting. Yeah, it would be better though. It definitely would be better if it was just daily cooks and local multiplayer, and this was like a $5 game and that's all there was to it, and they hadn't bothered to try and have any story, because the story was 100% a speed bump. This is an interesting picture system, but if I select this, it's just going to bring us back to where we were. So like, I really don't see why you would want to play in hard mode. I don't see why you would want to play a second time. I don't see any kind of new game plus. Let's see. Here we have survival challenges, streamlined random challenges with 1 life and no health regen. Free play, choose the rules and practice. Restaurant rush, put your cooking speed to the test. And breaking the dishes, hone your platforming and hunting skills. Breaking the dishes seems to probably be the only one that would be even slightly interesting. So you could choose any person that you actually fought in the game, but nobody knew. You can be in any area you were in the game, but no place new. And you can choose between any of the characters that are available in each of the lands, which really goes to show there's only about 5 ingredients in each land. Can we have infinite time? Cool. So, opponent difficulty can be easy. You could have one judge, and you could literally pick whatever judge you want. And mutations apparently are a thing. There's no puzzles here under challenges. And it seems to me like there really is only 6 break the dishes challenges. And see, this is a slightly different area, which does go to show that they could have created more areas had they wanted to do it. But it seems like there's no real rewards for doing that, although the game did save. Let's see what the gallery has to offer. Not a lot. He has a lot of foods that were never drawn or used. And there's just basically nothing else unlocked. So the entire gallery is locked behind doing daily challenges and playing this game more by the seams of it. And then speedrun mode on. I do want to see what that would have been. Well, if you're in speedrun mode and then you go here and load into this.
Whoa.
Like, speedrun mode still makes you press A to go through the dialogue, which so what's the big difference between speedrun mode and regular mode? Let's see. It seems like in this area you could potentially get enough of a hit off of this guy to balance yourself up to possibly get over the edges of the map, but I'm almost certain that there actually isn't anything up there, and escaping the map probably doesn't do anything good for you. Alright, well, we've been going for 2 hours. I'm glad to be finally done with this game, and boy am I done with this game. It was just not a well thought out concept in the first place. I think there is room out there for a cooking game. There's plenty of room out there for a visual novel that centers around cooking, for the fans of visual novels. But you probably would want branching paths, and you probably would also want to make it a mature game. There definitely is room out there for a hunting game where you run around and fight a bunch of monsters. That's just a general RPG. But this game fails to satisfy, and it's not even a really good Iron Chef parody. In the sense that it fails to be that fetish food game that it should be, because it doesn't focus on the food. Instead, it focuses on a unimportant story, but also because in Iron Chef you don't run through magic portals and fight monsters to get ingredients. You have all the ingredients handed to you, and that's probably where I would want to see a Iron Chef parody game go. Is I would like to see something that was very possibly a VR game where you have lots of ingredients put in front of you, and then you actually have to go through several very quick WarioWare style mini games to prepare the meat. Yeah, a Wiimote style game or a Switch Wii Motions type game nowadays would make a lot of sense if you had to like swing a Joy-Con up and down to chop meat as a mini game, and then you had to stir it like you're stirring a bowl to prepare another part. That would make a lot of sense. But just pressing buttons and matching gems is really no equation to cooking at all. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this series. I'm saddened to realize that I probably overpaid for this game. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wish list, or gift me a gift card. Also, I have a playlist on my YouTube channel. I have a playlist tab on my YouTube channel that has a playlist for every game I've ever covered. I've done a lot, so go check those out. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.